It is not a sight you often see, but the Mayor of Enfield will be caged in a locked garden in a bid to raise thousands to help dementia patients. Patricia Ekia will don her robes and set up camp in a garden at Chase Farm Hospital, which stands inside two long glass windows that travel the length of the Highlands Wing corridor. The Mayor will be able to be viewed by passers-by, who she hopes will donate to her Just Giving page and help her reach her £5,000 target. The money raised will go towards a £250,000 project to redevelop the garden space as a therapeutic sensory street scene for dementia patients, designed to provoke memory recall and provide a stimulating environment. She said, "I am determined to do all I can to raise a considerable sum. I plan to remain in the garden at a desk where I can make and receive calls from my mobile phone and iPad. Dementia does not get enough recognition, and I hope by taking part in this lock-in, more people will take notice and give what they can. I will be locked in until I reach my target, so please help me." The Chase Farm charity is trying to raise £120,000 to redevelop this garden and another stroke and neuro rehabilitation garden for patients within the hospital in the Ridgeway, Enfield. They have raised just over half of the money to complete the gardens, which are due to be finished in the next few months. The dementia garden has been designed with support from patients and their families. It includes a street with shop fronts, street lamps, and individual front gardens. Chase Farm's community fundraiser, Fedinta Taylor, said, "We are delighted the Mayor has chosen to support the redevelopment of our dementia garden. Dementia is a long-term condition which has a high impact on a person's health, personal circumstances, and family life. A number of studies have shown the benefits of therapeutic gardens and horticultural activities for patients with dementia. I will make sure she is fed and watered, but other than that she will remain locked in. The lock-in is taking place on Friday, April the 15th.
The owner of a pharmacy among thousands under threat from government cuts says it will hurt the country's health if they close. Hiran and Pinky Patel have run the Parkview Pharmacy in Southgate for 4 years, and they say they have developed a trusted relationship with their customers. But in December last year, the government announced cuts to money provided to pharmacies, claimed to be up to £170 million, which could result in 3,000 pharmacies shutting. While the Department of Health say no firm figure has been agreed, Mr. Patel says it makes him fear for his livelihood. He said, "It is not a case of just our shop closing down. The government is asking all pharmacies, which are a valuable source of medical information, to undergo serious cuts and efficiencies. We must try and prevent these cuts. The elderly will be most affected as they will have nowhere to go for advice. I am not happy with the proposed cuts. It will see more pressure on GPs and A&Es. The government are sending mixed messages as they are telling people to visit us before going to casualty, yet we may shut down and have a detrimental effect on the NHS. He said they have started a petition which in 2 weeks has gathered 300 signatures, although he said other stores have run petitions for longer and got more signings. Tony Burton, a Parkview customer, said people should sign the petition at their pharmacy to show the strength of feeling needed to keep the pharmacies open. He said all local pharmacies are under threat. The government seems to think it would be more efficient and economical if pharmacies are concentrated in branches of Boots and Sainsbury's. It has been done very quietly. I saw the petition on the Parkview counter asking for support, which was the first I heard of it. The Patels took over the pharmacy and have worked extremely hard. It would be a shame if their pharmacy was lost to us. Dr. Keith Ridge, Chief Pharmaceutical Officer for NHS England, said the number of pharmacies supported by NHS funding has risen from 9,748 in 2003 to 11,674 at 31st of March 2015, and 40% of pharmacies are in clusters of 3 or more within 10 minutes travel time of each other. He said community pharmacy is a vital part of the health and care system, and that's why we are consulting on changes that will better integrate pharmacy into the NHS. We are looking at ways to make greater use of the skills of pharmacists in GP surgeries, A&E, care homes and other settings, and make better use of technology. These proposals will ensure we have a modern, efficient pharmacy sector which gives patients the support of pharmacy services when and where they need it.
Enfield Town boosted their hopes of reaching the Ryman Premier Division playoffs after a 2-0 home win over Grays Athletic. The Towners clinched a third successive league victory to climb up to 6th in the table. Brad Quinton's side made the ideal start to the game after Grays conceded a penalty following a challenge by Glenn Little on Ahmed Kartita. Corey Whiteley fired his spot kick past goalkeeper Lamar Johnson for an early breakthrough. The hosts kept the pressure on and a free kick was pushed round the post. Kartita also went close to extending Town's lead, but Johnson did well to keep out his effort. Grays struggled to make an impact during the opening period, and their first effort of note came 3 minutes before the break, when Jamie Fuller's shot was easily saved by keeper Nathan MacDonald. Mickey Parcell almost doubled the host's advantage before the break, but he fired wide of the target. The Towners continued to threaten, and Harry Ottaway was unlucky to see his strike rebound off the woodwork. Enfield were also left frustrated soon afterwards when Tyler Campbell cut inside and fired his shot against the upright. After a dominant first half, the hosts could have easily been further ahead, but they maintained their control of the contest in the second period. Harold Joseph almost made it 2-0, but his firm header was well saved by the impressive Johnson. It looked like the hosts would have to settle for a slender win until they were awarded another penalty in injury time. Fuller brought down striker Bobby Devine in the area, and Whiteley converted his second spot kick of the game. It was their second win in 2 days after a 2-1 home victory over playoff rivals Bognor Regis Town. Quinton's side had to come from behind to claim a vital victory in their promotion bid. The Towners trailed 1-0 when Jason Pryor netted from close range, but Enfield levelled the game within 6 minutes when the hosts failed to clear the ball and Whiteley volleyed home. Within 3 minutes the visitors had turned the contest around as they took the lead. A free kick was not cleared and it fell at the feet of Mark Kirby as he steered the ball home. The wins have taken them up to 6th in the table and just 1 point off 5th position. Enfield travelled to Mersham next.
Rugby now, and Enfield Ignatians improved their away form after a comfortable 26-12 win at Old Merchant Taylors in London 2 North West League. The visitors did not have it all their own way in the first half though, as they edged to a 7-5 lead. Soon on the front foot, Ignatians breached Merchant Taylor's line for the only time in the first half in the 9th minute, when prop Matt Pollard barrelled his way over after the visitors successfully farmed the catch and drove from the line out. Jake Bates added the extras, but a minute later Merchant Taylors threw caution to the wind, and although there was more than a hint of a forward pass in the move, they capitalised on some slack defending. The second half was a different story, as a resurgent Ignatians, via a combination of their strong press defence and another quality display from the back row of Richard Lawrence, Matt Giorgio and Wes Warren, bottled up Merchant Taylors in their own half and hounded them into a series of errors. Consequently, the rampant visitors scored 2 further tries via captain Keir Bonner and Liam Horn, who was played in via a deft backflip pass from man of the match Owen Perks. 3 successful penalties from fly half Jake Bates rounded off a productive afternoon. The only blot on the landscape was the failure to wrap up the bonus points. However, they have only themselves to blame after dropping the ball over the line 3 times, and consequently it was Merchant Taylors that had the last laugh in the final minute. Captain Keir Bonner said, "We had a lot of possession in the first half, but we were playing too frantically at times and didn't convert the pressure into points. We were far more composed in the second half, and the points came our way, although we let slip a few other try-scoring opportunities. Other than that, I'm pleased with our performance." The Ignatians have 2 more league games left and face leaders Fullerians at Donkey Lane next. The second team lost for only the second time in the league since the start of the new year, after going down 39 points to 7 to a strong Fullerian seconds. An improved second half display saw Padraig Connolly go over as the visitors wrapped up their league campaign.
A student who hopes to become the next Miss England has vowed not to let her arthritis be a barrier to her success. Shahika Franzenpour from Palmer's Green has made it to the quarter-finals of the competition and described the experience as a roller coaster. The 20-year-old, who combines her modelling career with studying for a degree in film, TV and music at London Metropolitan University, was first diagnosed with the condition aged 13. She said arthritis is not something connected by many people to fashion, but I want to show it does not matter. All that matters is not giving up. I see it as being us girls working together, not so much as a contest. I get a horrible redness, swelling and stiffness in all my joints when I wake up. It makes it difficult to get out of bed. She says her condition has flared up during the competition, but she is still determined to try the best she can and hopes her success will spur others on. She said, it has boosted my confidence so much. It is not just about beauty, but about who you are. It is beauty with a purpose.
Enfield's illegal tobacco trade has been described as being on a shocking scale after the sale of more than 20 cases of illicit cigarettes were uncovered. Former police detective Will O'Reilly led an undercover team which targeted 21 shops in Southgate over a 2-day period as part of research by tobacco company Phillip Morris. Mr. O'Reilly said that while nowhere in the UK was unaffected, to have so many unscrupulous shop owners in a small area was worrying. He said raising public and political awareness is foremost, as the consequences are a massive loss to the Treasury. We do find a lot of these products are linked to organised crime, especially what we call illicit whites, cigarettes you can't buy anywhere and are designed specifically to be smuggled. We have found these, which are on sale, previously containing stuff like grass, sawdust and animal droppings. Working from tip-offs, there were 23 purchases of illicit tobacco, 21 on one day and 3 the following day. In total, 46 illegal cartons of cigarettes and rolling tobacco were bought from the shops, which the group declined to name, as well as a man selling in a bookmaker's and a woman advertising on the internet. HM Revenue and Customs estimates that the potential cost to British taxpayers of illegal cigarettes is £2.1 billion.
Residents battling to protect a conservation area are hopeful after they were granted a temporary reprieve at the 11th hour. Planning officers had recommended that councillors give the go-ahead to build a 4-bedroom house on a small patch of garden in Walsingham Road, which backs onto Essex Road in Enfield Town. More than 80% of the plot of land falls within the town conservation area. But just hours before the planning meeting, a letter of objection was received, prompting the temporary reprieve. Planning Committee Chairman Toby Simon said, "A detailed letter raising objections to the officer's report was received by the Council less than 2.5 hours before the start of the Planning Committee on March the 22nd. As there was clearly inadequate time to consider their objections, the committee reluctantly agreed to yet further delay in deciding this application, which is now due to be discussed at the Planning Committee on April the 26th. Speaking after the meeting, Richard Burndes, 47 of Essex Road, said, "Obviously we are really pleased it didn't get the go-ahead, but having said that, we don't know what that means for the future. We have been here before, and the council seems like it's bending over backwards for this development for some reason. It keeps saying that the borough needs more affordable housing, but how will a single 4-bedroom house priced at about £700,000 help with the shortage of affordable housing? The saga of the development has been dragging on since 2010, when developers first submitted a planning application to the council. The initial application was rejected. However, in 2014, the developers submitted a second application and were successful. Essex Road residents were so incensed by the decision that they brought a judicial review against the local authority. And in February 2015, they were vindicated when a High Court judge upheld every aspect of their grievance, ordered the council to pay all the costs of the claimant's case, and quashed the 2014 decision to grant planning permission. The developers submitted a tweaked application at the end of last year.
A nurse who has worked for the borough's mental health service for over 30 years has retired. Joan Cox joined Barnet, Enfield and Haringey Mental Health NHS Trust in 1985 as a district nurse, visiting housebound patients to provide advice and helping them to live independently. She said her time working with BEH has been wonderful. She said, "I've had the pleasure of working with so many dedicated nursing staff in Enfield over the years, many of whom have become close friends of mine." Ms Cox began her nurse training at the London Hospital Whitechapel in 1979 and qualified in 1982, moving to Enfield a year later. She worked for 2 years at Highlands Hospital on the orthopaedic ward, and in 1985 she started working in district nursing. Ms Cox said there have been many changes during her time working for the NHS. She said, "One of the areas of change I have seen is in technology, including the walkie-talkies that we used out of hours before mobile phones were around. They were the size of a brick, with everyone around you being able to hear the whole conversation." Area manager for the district nursing service said Ms Cox would always be on hand to offer help and advice, even when off duty. She said, "I can say from my heart that when I joined the service as a manager 7 years ago, I had never met a nurse so dedicated and so committed. She has shown immense commitment to her work throughout her time here, and even in the past few weeks, while she's been prepared to retire, Joan has supported the team as we put together plans to further improve our service to help us provide excellent patient care." Ms Cox's love of nursing has been passed on to her daughter Laura, who this summer will start working for BEH at the Adolescent Mental Health Unit in Edgware.
A contestant on Channel 4's The Island said she would definitely go back again if she had the chance. In her regular life, Tilly Martin works in the Beehive pub in Edmonton, but near the end of last year, she and 15 other people were dropped on the remote island. The 28-year-old says the experience was incredible, and in the first episode, viewers saw how the girls set up camp quicker than their male counterparts. Tilly said the girls worked well together and complimented each other a lot. There was a few arguments, but we worked really well as a team. When we were dropped out of the boat, I was practically drowning. Even swimming to shore was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Tilly said she applied for the show despite never liking the outdoors. Her only previous experience was camping with the Brownies, but she wanted to test herself with something completely new. After the first episode aired, Tilly says she was inundated with calls and messages from friends and well-wishers. She said, "My phone went crazy. I got so many lovely supportive messages from everyone that I know." Miss Martin admits she will probably come across as a loud-mouthed Londoner on the show, but hopes the remaining 5 episodes will demonstrate how hard she worked and how she pulled her weight in the camp. It does change you. I did say initially I would never return, but there's something so nice about seeing how simple life can be, and it's made me much more fearless. If I had the chance, I would go back tomorrow.
The manager of a supermarket has admitted that thieves have been making a habit of looting fresh meat from the store's shelves. Hassan Imam, from the cooperative supermarket in Lancaster Road, Enfield, says that thieves frequently make off with shelves of meat products to resell on the black market. A resident who lives in Enfield Road, next to the supermarket, told the Advertiser that every piece of packaged refrigerated meat lining the chiller cabinets had been taken by shoplifters in a single raid, and only 2 packets of beef mince were left on the shelves. The chiller cabinets are located near the entrance, while the tills are at the other end of the store. Mr. Imam said, "It is quite random, but we do get a lot of shoplifters. They sometimes take as much as 40 or 50 pounds of meat at a time. We have a policy that our staff do not put themselves in danger by chasing them or by physically restraining them." He said that in a bid to combat the thieves, staff are encouraged to limit the amount of stock they have on the shelves at any one time and try and keep an eye on people they recognise as repeat offenders. A cooperative spokesman said, "We work closely with police when shoplifting takes place at our stores, and we always seek to prosecute anyone found guilty of stealing from us. We do not discuss security procedures in order to protect our staff and customers."
Enfield Council is gearing up for another jobs fair later this month. The local authority will be staging the event at the Green Towers Community Centre in Plevna Road, Edmonton, on Wednesday, April the 20th, between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Entry is free and open to anyone from the borough who is looking for work. 300 people attended the last council-run jobs fair, and some of them were able to secure jobs with employers they met at the event. Alan Sitkin, the council's cabinet member for economic development, said, "Every single person in Enfield, regardless of age or work experience, who is looking for employment, training, apprenticeships or advice should attend this fair. Previous job fairs have reported back that both applicants and employers found the day rewarding, informative and a great tool to get a job. The council will do everything it can to help all our people to find good jobs, and we really do hope they take advantage of this.
We've reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Janet, Sally, Colin and Keith, and Robin on the controls, it's goodbye. Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the cassette or memory stick into the packet, and return it to us as soon as possible, in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking Newspaper. The Enfield Talking Newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.